This video is brought to you by Granger Motors, where you can save up to $1,300 on a factory extended warranty on your new Ford or Ram, Jeep, Chrysler vehicle.
Case, what the heck is going on with Dodge?
There's certainly some head scratchers going on at one of our favorite brands.
Yep, and as you know, Dodge is just one of 14 brands under the Stellantis umbrella. And in this video, we're going to be talking about some history leading up to what's going on today, what is currently happening, and most importantly, what is or should be coming up over the next several months. But let's get right to it. Number 7.
This is the fact that we have a muscle car brand, Dodge, that currently has no muscle cars because the Charger and Challenger at the end of 2023 were discontinued, which is a pretty big deal in the brand.
It is a big deal, and I think if any brand is going to be struggling with converting their hardcore customers to electric cars, it's Dodge, because as you know, Dodge is now synonymous with Mopar and with the Hellcat powertrains. So it might be a little tricky to get the new Charger as a full electric car coming up next year.
Yeah, as most people know by now, the new Charger that is coming out is initially an EV. There is going to be a 6-cylinder turbo 6-pack model. But again, like you say, the Charger and Challenger audience of the past is used to big, loud, very powerful V8s. These cars, these new Chargers, are also going to be very powerful. They're going to be very quick, but you're going to be missing some of that sensation.
Yeah, and the question is, where are they, dude?
Yeah, so supposedly the two-door coupes we should see in Q4 of 2024 and the four-doors in early 2025. But are we getting a whole lot of indication?
No, there's been conspicuous silence on what's immediately coming. Stellantis did share that the Charger EV with solid-state batteries will arrive in 2026, but not much in the way of additional confirmation as to what's going into production right now, at least at this time of the video. So what we have is a brand really that's got only 2 vehicles to sell, and that brings us to number 6. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, so this is about the Dodge Durango. Of course, one of their better-selling models currently that is still being produced, but it has been around since 2011, and the last major facelift was 2021. So it's still a vehicle that's selling decently well, 46,870 units for the third quarter of 2024, but it's down 13% year over year as compared to last.
Yeah, and it's also the very last vehicle out of the Stellantis paddock, using a British term there, that you can get with the Hellcat powertrain. They keep making special editions, which is, of course, pissing off the people who bought their initial special editions. But I had a chance to recently drive the new Silver Bullet edition, which is over $100,000 for a Hellcat Durango, which, for a vehicle that's been around a long time seems like a lot of money.
That is a lot of money for what is underpinnings, at least, a pretty old vehicle. But that Silver Bullet is not the only special edition. Like you said, there's the Alchemy, there's the RT 20th Anniversary Edition, there's the Hammerhead, the Brass Monkey. So yeah, they're really doing quite a few special editions.
Yeah, they're all based around, of course, the V8 Mopar engines, which are not long for this world. Stellantis has phased out the 5.7 Hemi and everything else to this point. I'm talking about, of course, the Jeep, the Ram, the Charger, and the Challenger, obviously. And, of course, the big 6.4-liter Hemi, the 392, the big Hemi and supercharged Hellcat are also on their way out, unfortunately. So that brings us to number 5, which is, of course, the fact that the Hornet, the other car that Dodge has to sell, is not exactly flying off the shelf.
No, it doesn't seem to be gathering a whole lot of interest from buyers, and maybe that's partly because it's based on an Alfa Romeo, so the Tonale, and it's built in Italy. It's just shared platform and components with the Tonale, so it doesn't necessarily feel like a Dodge product from the ground up.
Yeah,
it's not.
It kind of brings to mind the Dart. Remember that? That was a mid-size sedan that they put into production that really offered nothing in the way of features that were better than the Accord, the Camry. And here it feels like they're taking a very popular old brand name, the Hornet, and sticking it onto a bottle of wine from Italy.
Yeah.
But the mix just doesn't work, right? Italian wine with American branding on it just seems to leave me kind of cold. Now, I did get a chance to drive the Tonale in Italy, which Very good car, named after one of the classic passes in Italy, and really enjoyed it there. There's a plug-in hybrid, but the Hornet just kind of leaves, I think, a lot of people cold, and I think the numbers show that.
Yeah, and it's tough too when it's competing in such a competitive area of automotive. There's a lot of competition for that Tonale and for the Hornet, so it's got an uphill battle to try and sell well. And like you said, that's reflected in the sales. So through Q3 of this year, 15,566 units. So quite a bit less than the Durango, which, like we said, is very dated.
But it is an improvement over last year, but it's nowhere near where the Charge and Challenger were at the end of their run. And those cars were ancient as well. All right, number 4, what the heck's going on, Case?
Yeah, so we've got new leadership. It seems like there's been a lot of people coming in and a lot of people going out of Stellantis in general. But as a lot of people know, Tim Kuniskis is out.
Yeah, he was the stalwart. He was there for 32 years, and he actually shepherded the brand through the Hellcat era. You know, he did a lot of really cool things that a lot of Mopar fans loved. I'm talking about the Hellcat. I'm talking about the Hellcat wide body. I'm talking about the Demon.
Yeah.
Right? These were cars that were right down the Mopar driveway. And unfortunately, you know, he is gone under the new leadership of Stellantis and Carlos. And of course, Carlos is also now stepping down. He has announced that he's not going to be renewing his contract. And so I kind of feel like Stellantis and Dodge are kind of right now, you know, directionless in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and now we have Matt McAleer, I think is how you say the last name.
And if we mispronounce him, Matt, we apologize.
Yeah, so apparently he said in an interview with Automotive News that the electric Charger may very well convert some muscle car owners to EVs. I think that is hopeful thinking.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure that's what most muscle car lovers want. I mean, case in point is a 6-pack. And then Dodge is bringing that because building the new Charger strictly as an EV is turning out not to be a great idea.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Dodge really sticks the landing with new leadership. It's a bit too early to tell, but we wanted to talk about that. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you've got the hardest job in the automotive world right now.
Let me take a minute to tell you about this video's sponsor, Granger Motors, and their extended factory warranties for new vehicles. Today, more than ever, an extended factory warranty is a worthwhile consideration. The new cars and trucks coming out pack more amazing, yet unproven tech and complexity than ever. Knowing this, an extended factory warranty buys you peace of mind. If something goes wrong, you're covered for repairs and parts for years after the original warranty expires. A factory-backed warranty means repairs are done by factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out and are trained to repair known problems. A factory-backed warranty ensures that your car or truck gets replaced with true factory parts and in some cases upgraded factory parts to fix those known issues. So next time you buy a new Ford or Ram, Jeep, Dodge, or Chrysler vehicle, go to Granger Motors for an extended factory warranty. Granger is the #1 seller of Ford Protect warranties and one of the top sellers of Mopar vehicle protection warranties in the country. This volume lets their customers save an average of $1,300. So what are you waiting for?
Now, to help transition those Mopar fans from the traditional internal combustion engine to the new electric version, they have hung their future on the Fratzonic or the Fratzonic exhaust.
Yeah, so for the number 3 thing we want to talk about, it is this Fratzonic exhaust. Now, part of the naming for this is based off of the Fratzog, which is an old school logo, part of Dodge's history, going back to the 1960s. It's a pretty obscure reference.
Yeah, that's being kind.
Yeah, it's very obscure.
When they first announced it, I was like, Fratzig?
Yeah.
What the heck is a Fratzog?
I mean, really, some hardcore Mopar guys will probably be laughing at us, but it is the logo that is on the front of this new upcoming Charger. And what the Fratzonic exhaust is a speaker system, basically a chamber exhaust.
It's actually different than that. So what they did was, instead of kind of doing electronic sound, right, which is a speaker, think of it as a pipe organ.
Yeah. It's like a chambered.
Right, yeah. So it actually creates
exhaust.
a real sound. So, I mean, the best analogy would be, the difference between hearing a trumpet in real life versus hearing a trumpet through a speaker, right? There's actually somebody blowing air. Yeah, and that's what they've created. You know what we could do? We've got some sound. Let's play it right now. Yeah. So you guys can decide on your own. Let us know in the comments whether you think this is the thing that will make you buy the newest electric Mopar. Is that enough, to convert, Hellcat lovers? Because let's face it, the 6.2 and the 6.8, 6.4 make that sound naturally. Without the need of, a chambered.
Which does make it feel genuine, which adds some level of excitement around it versus this being just a fabricated thing to have on an EV to try and add to the experience. But what I will say is that with the Ioniq 5N, which at least internally makes some noise if you want it to, as if there is a motor and as if you're shifting through gears, I think it does add to the experience if you want it. It's a fun little party trick. Maybe if you lived with the vehicle, it would get kind of old. But at least the bit of testing that we've done with an EV that does a kind of similar thing, I don't think it's a horrible feature.
Oh, don't want to redline it.
Okay. Well, can you accelerate like this too?
Of course I can accelerate like that. You ready?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Whoa! And it does little shifts?
Yeah, it simulates shifts.
Oh, that's so cool.
How cool is that? It's funny the way the Koreans are doing it versus the way the Americans are doing it, right? I mean, let's face it, Mopar fans wear their, I'm going to be kind here, heart on their sleeve. And so when they floor their Charger Challenger, they want the world to know that there's a big old
turning their head.
And you're going to get that with the Fratzonic exhaust. You, of course, don't get
on the exterior.
It's on the exterior, but at the end of the day, it's not real.
No, and I don't think it's going to be the same. I think for a lot of people, it's going to feel like a marketing gimmick.
All right, number 2, Case, they shelved the Challenger.
Yeah, so the Challenger name is gone. So obviously this new EV muscle car that's going to be coming out, as they're calling it, is going to be the Charger. So Charger is still around, but the Challenger is going away. And what's also interesting about that is you go way back into Dodge's history. Charger used to be a 2-door. Then they made the Charger the 4-door for the last.
And then they made the Challenger the 2-door. Confusing.
Yeah. The Charger is, going to be a 2-door and a 4-door.
Yeah, it took me I would say a good couple of years to figure out that the best way to identify the Challenger as a 2-door is that it had 2 L's. And just when I stuck that landing, now they're going back to having a Charger with 4 doors. So, okay, sure, why not?
Yeah, and so the Challenger name is basically on ice for the foreseeable future. We're not sure that they've got any plans for it behind closed doors. We'll just have to wait and see.
Maybe they'll do something unique, like make it a 3-door.
That would be unique. I'm not sure that that's a good idea.
I think Hyundai tried that.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, the number 1, what the heck, is a question. And that is, will the Hurricane, I'm talking about the straight 6 twin turbo, that will go into these cars, will it save the brand?
And this is a big question because there's obviously been a lot of money and resources poured into making this Hurricane engine. We've done quite a bit of testing with it already. It does put down pretty good performance figures, but at least for me personally, I think the thing that is missing with the Hurricane is that spirit and that excitement. Now, it'll be interesting to see how the Hurricane is in upcoming vehicles like the RHO, the Ram, the TRX replacement. But what made the 392 and the Hellcat engines so great was all that character that they had. And this Hurricane engine... Yeah, and that made it fun. This Hurricane engine being a straight 6, it's very smooth, it's very quiet in most of the vehicles that we've tested so far, so it doesn't really have that same personality.
Look, there have been other Hemis. It's not a unique thing to Dodge, right?
Maybe there will be more in the future.
Yeah, I mean, a good example, which you guys probably might know, is that the Citroen DS actually is a Hemi.
Well, yeah, that's true. Not branded maybe as such. But.
But Dodge made that design their own, right? The hemispherical engine, and it became synonymous with Mopar. And the issue I have with this is that, to me, a straight six is synonymous with BMW, right? That is a company that has pioneered that as a company that, for a while, their case, there were only 2 straight sixes you could buy in America. Can you guess what those 2 were?
You know where my head goes. Cummins.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Cummins and the BMW were the only 2 straight sixes that you could actually buy in America. That's, of course, has changed now. A lot of manufacturers have gone back to the straight six, and Cummins never left it. But yeah, I mean, it's a good example. It's kind of like Cummins decided that they're going to stop building diesels, and they're going to electrify their fleet. I'm not sure that would fly, and there's certainly a lot of questions as to whether this will fly. Guys, let us know in the comments below, what you think. What the heck is going on at Dodge, and is it something that they can pull off? I mean, can they actually convince the Mopar buyer that loves hellfire and, God laughing?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the exhaust, of course, as their hallmarks of what they represent as Mopar fans to go electric. I think it's going to be.
I think it's going to be a tough pitch.
The biggest magic trick in all of cardom, but I wish them well. I love the brand, and I hope they can make it happen. I mean, performance-wise, the e-muscle cars should actually be quicker, right?
Oh yeah,
they're all-wheel drive.
Oh, super impressive stats.
Yeah, super impressive stats. So if bragging rights at the drag strip are what you're after, then these cars, will bring it. The question is that enough?
Yeah, we'll see.
See you guys next time. Remember, go to alltfl.com for more news, views, and real-world reviews. Ciao.